The message came through every communication channel in the galaxy at the same time. High Marshal Vexier's face appeared on billions of screens across hundreds of worlds. His red eyes glowed with confidence as he spoke. "People of Earth," Vexier said, his voice cold and sharp. "You have 30 days to surrender. My empire has conquered 12 star systems in 3 years. Your small planet will not survive. Submit now or watch your world burn." The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, people talked about nothing else. The Crithian Empire was powerful. Everyone knew that. Their fleet had 500 warships. They had destroyed civilizations bigger than Earth. Nobody expected the humans to win. At Unity Prime, the giant space station where the Galactic Council met, representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the Great Hall. The room buzzed with worried voices. Ambassador Talonis stood at the human podium. He was from the Meridian Collective, a peaceful group of aliens who had always been kind to Earth. "The Crithians are serious," a reptilian counselor hissed. "They will not stop. Earth should surrender before it is too late. How can humans fight 500 ships?" Another voice called out. Counselor Nixara raised her hand. The ancient leader of the council was old beyond measure. Her silver skin seemed to glow softly. When she spoke, everyone listened. "Ambassador Talonis," Nixara said quietly, "what can Earth do? What forces do you have?" Talonis looked uncomfortable. The truth was, nobody really knew what Earth had. Humans had joined the galactic community only 20 years ago. They were friendly and smart, but they kept their military secrets close. There were rumors, of course, stories of impossible technology. But rumors were just rumors. "We are waiting for Earth's response," Talonis said carefully. "I believe they have a plan." Many counselors shook their heads. They did not believe him. On Earth, in the city of Geneva, the leaders of humanity met in a secure room deep underground. Military officers filled the walls with charts and data. Admiral Hajin stood at the front of the room. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and short black hair. She had fought in many battles, and she never lost. "The Crithian fleet is strong," a general said, "but they fight old wars with old thinking. They believe in numbers. They believe more ships mean victory." "What do we believe in?" the Secretary General asked. Admiral Hajin smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something others did not. "We believe in being smarter," she said. "We believe in better technology. We believe in doing more with less." "How many ships will we send?" the Secretary General asked. The room went silent. Everyone waited. "1," Admiral Hajin said. Several people started talking at once. "1 ship against 500? That is suicide. The galaxy will think we are weak." The Secretary General held up his hand. The noise stopped. "Explain, Admiral," he said calmly. Hajin walked to the window. Outside, through the thick glass, Earth glowed blue and beautiful. "We send 1 ship because 1 ship is enough," she said. "The Indomitable is not like their ships. It is not like any ship the galaxy has seen. We send 1 ship to show them that we do not need to match their numbers. We send 1 ship to prove that we are different." The Secretary General thought for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Do it," he said. "Show them what humanity can do." 3 days later, at Earth Orbital Defense Station Armstrong, the Indomitable prepared to leave. The ship was huge by human standards, stretching 2.5 kilometers long. But compared to some alien dreadnoughts, it looked normal, almost boring. Captain Minho stood on the bridge next to Admiral Hajin. He was younger than her, with quick eyes and a mind that worked like a computer. He studied the readings on his screen. "All systems are ready," he said. "The crew is prepared." Commander Yuna checked her weapons console. She was a former soldier, strong and precise. Her fingers moved across the controls with practiced ease. "Weapons online," she reported. "All defensive systems active." Lieutenant Deho grinned from his engineering station. He was the youngest senior officer, always excited about technology. "The quantum fold drive is working perfectly," he said happily. "We can jump anywhere in the sector in seconds." Dr. Yunji looked up from her science station. She was calm and thoughtful, always thinking about the bigger picture. "I have loaded all data about Crithian psychology and tactics," she said. "I believe we can predict their actions." Major Jinwoo stood ready with his Marines. The soldier was quiet but deadly, a man who led from the front. "Marines are ready for any situation," he said simply. Admiral Hajin looked at her crew. 3,000 people, 1 ship, against an empire. Listen carefully, she said. Her voice carried through every deck. The galaxy thinks we are weak. They think sending one ship is a sign of desperation or foolishness. Let them think that. We know the truth. This ship represents everything humanity has learned. Every battle we have studied. Every technology we have developed. Every principle we hold dear. She paused, looking at each face on the bridge. We do not go to war because we want to, she continued. We go because we must. But we will show them something they have never seen. We will show them that one ship, crewed by people who fight smart instead of just fighting hard, can change everything. The crew was silent. Then slowly they began to nod. Helm, Hajin said, "Take us out." The Indomitable pulled away from the station. Its quantum drive hummed to life. Space around the ship began to shimmer and fold. Then in a flash of light, the ship vanished. Across the galaxy, observers watched. At Unity Prime, Counselor Nixara studied the sensor readings. "Interesting," she whispered. "That drive signature is unlike anything I have seen in 3,000 years." In the Crithian Command Center, High Marshal Vexier laughed when he received the report. "One ship?" he roared. "They send one ship? This will be over before it begins. Send 50 vessels to meet them. 50 against one should be amusing." His officers laughed with him. They did not understand. Nobody did. Nobody except the humans. The Indomitable jumped through folded space, moving toward the border system of Helios 7. There, a Crithian fleet waited. They expected an easy victory. They were about to learn something new. They were about to learn why you should never underestimate humanity. The Helios 7 system was quiet. 3 planets orbited a yellow star, and between them 50 Crithian warships waited. Fleet Commander Rathak sat in his command chair watching the sensors. He was bored. "When will the humans arrive?" he asked. "Any moment, Commander," his sensor officer replied. "They are traveling fast." "Very fast," Rathak grunted. He had heard the reports. One human ship was coming. Just one. It was insulting. Did the humans think so little of the Crithian Empire? Did they think one ship could stand against 50? "There!" the sensor officer shouted. "They are here!" Space twisted and folded. Reality seemed to tear open. Then the Indomitable appeared, hanging in space like it had always been there. The human ship was large but not enormous. It looked simple. Clean lines. No visible weapons on the outside. Rathak laughed. His officers laughed with him. "That is it?" Rathak said. "That is their great warship? Open a channel." On the Indomitable's bridge, Admiral Hajin stood calmly. She watched the Crithian ships on the main screen. Captain Minho worked at his station analyzing their positions. 50 ships, Minho said. Standard Crithian battle formation. "They are confident. Too confident," Commander Yuna added from her weapons station. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer said. "Put it on screen," Hajin ordered. Rathak's face appeared. He was still laughing. "Humans," he said, "this is amusing. Did you lose your fleet? Did it break down? Turn around now and we will let you leave. Or stay and die quickly. Your choice." His officers laughed louder. The sound echoed through the transmission. Captain Minho looked at Admiral Hajin. She nodded once. Minho leaned forward and spoke clearly. His voice was calm and steady. "Fleet Commander Rathak, you have 10 minutes to withdraw your ships. This is your only warning. Leave now, and no one needs to get hurt." The laughter on the Crithian bridge grew louder. Rathak wiped tears from his eyes. "A warning?" he roared. "You give us a warning? You are one ship. We are 50. I will enjoy crushing you. All ships attack pattern Theta. Fire at will." The transmission ended. The Crithian ships moved into position. 50 warships against one. Lieutenant Deho checked his console. He smiled. "Shields are ready," he said happily. "This is going to be interesting." The Crithian ships opened fire. Hundreds of missiles launched at once. Energy beams bright as suns cut through space. Plasma bolts streaked toward the Indomitable. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The attacks hit. Light flashed. Energy exploded. For a moment, nothing could be seen through the brightness. Then the light faded. The Indomitable hung in space, completely undamaged. Around it, a shimmer of energy glowed softly. The shields had absorbed everything. On the Crithian command ship, Rathak's smile vanished. "What?" he whispered. "Fire again." "Everything we have." The Crithian fleet fired again. More missiles. More beams. More plasma. The attack was twice as strong as before. On the Indomitable, Lieutenant Deho watched his screens with delight. "Shields are holding perfectly," he reported. "Actually, shields are at 103% now. Their weapons are charging our systems. We are stronger than when we started." Admiral Hajin nodded. She turned to Commander Yuna. "Commander," she said, "show them what precision looks like." Yuna's fingers danced across her console. The Indomitable's weapon system came online, but these were not the weapons the Crithians expected. No big explosions, no plasma cannons. Instead, the ship launched small projectiles. They moved impossibly fast, guided by artificial intelligence that could predict enemy movement before it happened. "Targeting complete," Yuna said. "Firing." The kinetic penetrators launched. They crossed the distance in seconds. Each one hit a different Crithian ship. Each one struck exactly the same place, the engine section. One by one, Crithian ships went dark. Their engines stopped. Their weapons died, but their life support stayed on. Their crew was safe. Disabled but alive, 17 seconds. 23 ships disabled. 0 casualties. Yuna leaned back in her chair. "All targets neutralized," she reported calmly. "No enemy casualties. They can still evacuate if needed." On Rathak's ship, alarms blared. Officers shouted reports. "Nearly half his fleet was dead in space. How?" he stammered. "How did they do that?" "Commander," his tactical officer shouted. "The human ship is not using standard weapons. Their projectiles move at near light speed. Our shields cannot stop them. And their targeting computer predicts our movements before we make them." Rathak stared at the screen. The human ship had not moved. It had not even tried to dodge their attacks. It had just stood there, absorbed everything, and then struck back with surgical precision. A new transmission came through. Admiral Hajin's face appeared. "Fleet Commander Rathak," she said. Her voice was not angry. It was not cruel. It was simply matter of fact. "We have disabled your ships without killing anyone. Your crews are safe. They can evacuate. Take your people and leave this system. Tell High Marshal Vexier what happened here. Tell him that the next time we meet, we will not be as gentle." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We do not want war," she continued. "But if you bring war to us, we will end it. On our terms. Do you understand?" Rathak could not speak. He simply nodded. "Good," Hajin said. "You have 1 hour to evacuate your damaged ships. After that, we suggest you leave." The transmission ended. Rathak sat in his command chair. His hands shook. Around him, his officers were silent. They had just learned something terrifying. The humans were not weak. They were not unprepared. They had technology beyond anything the Crithians had seen. And worse, they had shown mercy. They could have killed everyone. Instead, they chose not to. That was somehow more frightening than any weapon. "What are they?" Rathak whispered. At Unity Prime, the Galactic Council watched recordings of the battle. The Great Hall was completely silent. Hundreds of species stared at their screens in disbelief. Ambassador Talonis could barely believe what he was seeing. One ship had defeated 50, without even trying, without killing anyone. Counselor Nixara watched the footage 3 times. Then she spoke, her ancient voice filling the hall. "I have lived for 3,000 years, she said. "I have seen empires rise and fall. I have witnessed countless wars. But I have never seen anything like this. The humans defeated their enemies without firing a shot designed to kill. Either they are impossibly merciful, or they are showing us they do not need to kill to win." She looked around the chamber. "I believe it is both," she said quietly. "And that should make us all think very carefully about what humanity truly is." Across the galaxy, the message spread. One human ship had defeated 50 Crithian warships. The battle had lasted less than a minute. Nobody had died, and somewhere in deep space, High Marshal Vexier received the report. He read it once, then again. Then he crushed the datapad in his hands. "Rathak is a fool," he snarled. "I will deal with the humans myself. Prepare the fleet, all of it. We will show them what real power looks like." His officers hurried to obey, but some of them looked worried. They had seen the footage too, and they were beginning to wonder if their marshal understood what he was dealing with. Across the galaxy, every screen showed the same thing. Laboratory footage of Crithian scientists working with deadly viruses. Documents detailing plans to deploy bioweapons against civilian populations, targeting coordinates for inhabited worlds. The evidence was overwhelming. At Unity Prime, the Galactic Council chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives shouted. Some demanded immediate action. Others called for investigation. But everyone agreed on one thing. The Crethean Empire had violated every galactic law about weapons of mass destruction. Ambassador Talonis stood at his podium, watching the screens. He felt sick. The Cretheans had been planning to commit genocide. Not just against humans. The files showed bioweapons designed for dozens of species. Counselor Nixara raised her hand. Slowly, the chamber grew quiet. The evidence is clear, she said. Her voice was heavy with sadness. The Crethean Empire has committed crimes against all sentient life. This council must act. But the humans, another counselor said, they exposed this. They gave us the proof. Yet they had their enemies scattered and helpless. They could have destroyed the entire Crethean fleet. Why did they not? Nixara looked at the transmission data. The Indomitable could have killed thousands. Instead, it had disabled ships, protected lives, and then shared evidence of crimes that could have justified total war. Perhaps, she said slowly. That is exactly the point. They are showing us that victory without vengeance is possible, that justice matters more than revenge. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Hajin and her crew monitored the galactic response. Captain Minho watched news feeds from hundreds of worlds. The galaxy is responding, he said. Multiple species are calling for intervention. The Council is preparing sanctions. Some are demanding the Crethean Empire be dissolved. Commander Yuna kept her eyes on tactical displays. Admiral, Vexier's dreadnought is still active. He is trying to break free from the gravity well. If he escapes, he might do something desperate. As if in answer, the sensor alarm screamed. Missile launch, the tactical officer shouted. Vexier's ship just fired a bioweapon missile. Target is Earth. Dr. Yunji pulled up the missile's trajectory. Her face went pale. It is one of the bioweapons from their research, she said. If it reaches Earth, billions could die. Yuna calculated intercept courses. We have 90 seconds, she said. The missile is moving fast. Too fast for conventional intercept. Hajin did not hesitate. Helm, emergency quantum fold jump. Put us directly in the missile's path. Lieutenant Deho, prepare the containment field. Admiral, that is dangerous, Minho warned. If the containment field fails, it will not fail, Hajin said firmly. Execute. The Indomitable vanished from the nebula. Space folded. Reality bent. The ship reappeared directly in the missile's flight path. Containment field active, Deho called out. Capturing the missile now. Energy wrapped around the bioweapon missile. The field was invisible but powerful, containing the weapon completely. The missile stopped, trapped in an energy bubble that nothing could escape. Got it, Deho said with relief. Missile captured. Bioweapon neutralized. And as a bonus, we now have physical evidence of their crimes. The bridge crew let out a collective breath. Earth was safe, but Admiral Hajin was not done. She opened a channel to Vexier's dreadnought. High Marshal Vexier, she said, we have captured your bioweapon. We have evidence of your crimes. Your fleet is scattered, your supply base is captured, and the entire galaxy now knows what you plan to do. It is over. Surrender and you will face justice. Refuse and we will ensure you can never threaten anyone again. On his dreadnought, Vexier stared at the screen. His hands clenched into fists. Everything had fallen apart. His fleet was destroyed. His plans were exposed. And one human ship had done it all. How? He whispered. How is this possible? You are just one ship. Admiral Hajin's expression softened slightly. That is what you never understood, she said. We are not just one ship. We are the result of everything humanity has learned, every mistake we studied, every battle we analyzed, every principle we hold dear. You believed in numbers. We believe in being better. She paused, then continued. But you want to know the real reason we only sent one ship? Because we wanted to prove something. We wanted to show the galaxy that power means nothing without wisdom. That strength means nothing without restraint. We sent one ship because we did not need more. We sent one ship to show that we are different. Captain Minho leaned forward and spoke. And if you are wondering, he added quietly, we are not the only one. This ship proved what we can do. But Earth has 47 more just like this one. We only needed to send one to make our point. Vexier's face went white. 47 more? The humans had 47 ships like the Indomitable. On the bridge, Admiral Hajin gave a signal. Behind her, a new tactical display appeared. It showed Earth's orbital space. Hidden among civilian stations and commercial traffic were the other ships. 47 vessels, each identical to the Indomitable, each capable of everything the galaxy had witnessed. The revelation swept across the galaxy. Humans had not sent one ship because it was all they had. They had sent one ship because one ship was enough. At Unity Prime, the council chamber fell silent as they processed this information. Counselor Nixara smiled for the first time in centuries. "Remarkable," she whispered. "They could have conquered us all. Instead, they chose to teach us." Ambassador Talonis felt pride swell in his chest. He had always believed in humanity. Now he understood why. On Vexor's dreadnought, the Marshal slumped in his chair. He was defeated. His empire was broken, and he had no one to blame but himself. "I surrender," he said quietly. Admiral Hajin nodded. "Major Jinwoo, prepare a boarding team. Take Marshal Vexor into custody. No harm is to come to him or his crew. They will face trial, but they will be treated fairly." Jinwoo and his Marines boarded the dreadnought. Vexor and his officers were taken peacefully. The Krithian soldiers did not resist. They had seen what human forces could do. They knew fighting was pointless. Within hours, the scattered Krithian fleet surrendered. Ships were disabled, but crews were safe. The bioweapon was contained, and the evidence was preserved for trial. On the Indomitable's bridge, the crew finally relaxed. Commander Yuna powered down her weapons systems. Lieutenant Deho ran diagnostics on the ship. Dr. Yunji compiled reports for the council. Captain Minho stood next to Admiral Hajin, looking out at the stars. "We did it," he said. "We stopped a war. We exposed crimes. We saved Earth. All with one ship." Hajin smiled. "Not just one ship," she corrected. 3,000 people. One ship, 3,000 souls all working together. That is what makes us strong." A transmission came through. It was from Earth. The Secretary General's face appeared. "Admiral Hajin," he said, "the Galactic Council has formally requested your presence at Unity Prime. They wish to discuss the future, both of the Krithian Empire and of humanity's role in the galaxy." Hajin straightened her uniform. "Understood, sir. We will set course for Unity Prime immediately." "Admiral," the Secretary General added, "you and your crew have done something incredible. You proved that humanity deserves a place among the stars. Thank you." The transmission ended. Hajin looked at her crew. "You heard the man," she said. "Set course for Unity Prime. Our work is not done yet." The Indomitable turned, its engines glowing. Behind it, the scattered Krithian fleet began the long process of regrouping and accepting their new reality. The war was over. But something new was beginning. Humanity had proven itself. Not through conquest, not through destruction, but through wisdom, restraint, and an unwavering commitment to doing what was right, and the galaxy would never be the same. Unity Prime was the largest space station in known space. It hung between 3 stars, a symbol of cooperation among hundreds of species. Today, the Great Council Chamber was filled to capacity. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy had come to witness this moment. In the center of the chamber, High Marshal Vexir stood in restraints. He looked smaller now, defeated. The proud warrior who had threatened to conquer the galaxy was just a tired old soldier facing judgment. Counselor Nixara presided over the tribunal. Her ancient eyes studied Vexir with something between pity and disappointment. "High Marshal Vexir," she said, "you stand accused of crimes against sentient life, development of bioweapons, plans for genocide, violation of every galactic treaty on weapons of mass destruction. How do you plead?" Vexir looked at the floor. "Guilty," he said quietly. The chamber erupted in noise. Some called for harsh punishment. Others demanded exile. But eventually, order was restored. Ambassador Talonis stood at his podium. He looked at Admiral Hajin, who sat in the human delegation area. "Admiral Hajin," Talonis said, "you captured Marshal Vexir. You exposed his crimes. By right of combat, you could demand any punishment you wish. What do you request?" The chamber fell silent. Everyone waited to hear what the humans would say. Hajin stood. She walked to the center of the chamber, standing a few meters from Vexir. She studied him for a long moment. "Marshal Vexir," she said, "you tried to destroy my world. You planned to murder billions. By every law, you deserve the harshest punishment." Vexier nodded slowly. He expected no mercy. But, Hajin continued, humanity does not believe in revenge. We believe in redemption. We believe every species deserves a chance to be better. She turned to face the council. I request that Marshal Vexier be removed from power, that he serve time for his crimes, but also that he be given the opportunity to help rebuild what he destroyed. Let him work to undo the damage he caused. Let him see firsthand the consequences of his actions, and let him prove that even the worst among us can change. The chamber was stunned. Vexier himself looked up in shock. You would give me a chance? He whispered. After everything I did? Yes, Hajin said simply. Because that is what we do. We do not destroy our enemies. We show them a better way. Councillor Nixara's face showed approval. The council accepts Admiral Hajin's recommendation, she said. Marshal Vexier will be imprisoned and will work to assist in the reconstruction of damaged worlds. The Crithian Empire will undergo democratic reforms, and humanity will oversee this process. The decision was made. Guards led Vexier away. He looked back at Admiral Hajin once, nodding with something that might have been respect. But the council meeting was not over. Nixara raised her hand again. There is one more matter to address, she said. The matter of humanity's place in the galaxy. Admiral Hajin, please step forward. Hajin returned to the center of the chamber. Captain Minho, Commander Yuna, Lieutenant Daiho, Dr. Yunji, and Major Jinwoo joined her. The crew of the Indomitable stood together. For centuries, Nixara said, this council has maintained peace through diplomacy and cooperation. But we have lacked the means to enforce that peace when diplomacy fails. We have watched as aggressive species conquered weaker ones. We have been unable to act. She looked at the human delegation. Humanity has shown us something remarkable. You possess military power beyond anything we have seen, yet you wield that power with restraint. You defeated your enemies without destroying them. You exposed crimes without seeking revenge. You have proven that strength and ethics can coexist. Nixara paused, letting her words settle. Therefore, by unanimous vote, this council invites humanity to join as a permanent member. Furthermore, we request that human forces serve as the council's peacekeeping fleet. You will protect the weak. You will enforce galactic law. You will ensure that what happened with the Crethians never happens again. The chamber erupted in applause. Species that had doubted humanity now cheered. The humans had earned their place. Admiral Hajin looked at her crew. They all nodded. This was what they had hoped for. Not conquest, not dominance, but acceptance, partnership, a chance to make the galaxy better. We accept, Hajin said. Humanity will serve the council with honor. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will work for peace. And we will never abuse the power you have given us. The applause grew louder. Ambassador Talonis had tears in his eyes. He had always believed in humanity. Now everyone else believed too. Later on the Indomitable, the crew celebrated quietly. They had done something incredible. They had changed the galaxy with just one ship. Captain Minho stood with Dr. Yunji in the observation deck, watching Unity Prime glow against the stars. We are going to be busy, Yunji said, helping the Crithians rebuild, setting up democratic governments, teaching them better ways. Minho smiled. Good, he said. Peace is harder than war, but it is always worth it. In the engineering section, Lieutenant Daiho was already working on upgrades. He wanted to make the Indomitable even better, even more capable of protecting people without harming them. Commander Yuna trained with Major Jinwoo's Marines. They practiced non-lethal tactics, ways to stop enemies without killing them. It was harder than regular combat, but it was important. On the bridge, Admiral Hajin received a transmission from Earth. The Secretary General appeared on screen. Admiral, he said, the Council has assigned you your first peacekeeping mission. There is a dispute in the Outer Rim. 2 species fighting over resources. Nothing like the Crithian situation, but it could escalate. They are requesting the Indomitable's presence. Hajin nodded. We will handle it, sir. When do we leave? Immediately, if possible. And Admiral, there is one more thing. The other ships in the fleet are being activated. They will join you over the next few months. You will no longer be alone out there. Hajin smiled. Understood, sir. Tell the crews we will save them some interesting missions. The transmission ended. Hajin looked around her bridge. Her crew was ready, the ship was ready, and the galaxy needed them. Captain Minho returned to the bridge and took his station. Ready for the next adventure? Hajin asked. Minho grinned. Always, he said. The Indomitable's engines powered up. The quantum fold drive hummed to life. Space began to shimmer around the ship. Across the galaxy, people watched, some with hope, some with curiosity, but all with respect. The question that had started everything had been answered. Why did the humans only send one ship? Because one ship, crewed by people who understood that power meant nothing without wisdom, was enough to change everything. Because humanity had learned that winning was not about destroying your enemies. It was about showing them a better way. Because sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when not to use all your strength. The Indomitable vanished in a flash of light, jumping to its next mission. Behind it, the galaxy was different, changed, better. And somewhere on Earth, in a quiet office in Geneva, the Secretary General looked at a display showing all 48 human ships. The Indomitable was just the first. The others would follow. Together they would protect the galaxy. But they would do it the human way, with strength, with wisdom, with restraint, and with an unwavering belief that even in the darkest times, even against the worst enemies, there was always a better path than simple destruction. The galaxy had asked why humans only sent one ship. Now they understood, and they were grateful. High Marshal Vexier stood in his private chamber. The room was dark. Red lights glowed from his equipment. On the floor lay the body of Fleet Commander Rathak. The former commander would never make another mistake. Vexier turned to his officers. They stood at attention, fear clear in their eyes. Rathak failed because he was weak, Vexier said. He underestimated the humans. I will not make that mistake. Assemble the full battle fleet. 200 capital ships. I will crush this human vessel myself. Yes, Marshal, an officer said nervously. But the humans, their technology is... Vexier's hand moved faster than the eye could follow. The officer fell, clutching his throat. The other officers stepped back. I do not want to hear about their technology, Vexier growled. I want results. Prepare the planet cracker missiles. If we cannot defeat their ship, we will destroy their world. Earth will burn. The officers hurried away. Vexier stood alone in his chamber, staring at a map of human space. One planet, one ship. How much trouble could they really be? On the Indomitable, Admiral Hajin and Captain Minho studied tactical displays. Dr. Yunji stood with them, sharing her analysis. Vexier will not give up, Yunji said. His psychology profile shows extreme pride. He will see our victory as a personal insult. He will escalate. How will he escalate? Minho asked. Yunji pulled up files on her tablet. Intelligence suggests the Crithians have a major supply base at Tertius Station. If Vexier wants to launch a sustained campaign against Earth, he will need that base. Everything flows through there. Fuel, ammunition, supplies. Minho nodded slowly, understanding. So we do not fight 200 ships, he said. We cut off their supply line. Exactly, Hajin said. If they cannot sustain a campaign, they cannot win. Commander Yuna, how well defended is Tertius Station? Yuna pulled up sensor data. 30 ships. Hundreds of automated defense platforms. Heavy shields. It is one of their most protected locations. Can we take it? Hajin asked. Yuna smiled. Can we take it? She repeated. Admiral, we took down 50 ships in 17 seconds. Yes, we can take it. The Indomitable jumped through space, appearing at the edge of the Tertius system. Immediately, alarms blared on the station. 30 Crithian ships moved to intercept. Defense platforms powered up. Lieutenant Deho watched his screens carefully. Activating electromagnetic pulse system, he said. This is going to be impressive. The Indomitable released a wave of energy. It was invisible to the naked eye, but sensors showed it spreading out in all directions. When it hit the defense platforms, they went dark. Their computer systems fried. Their weapons shut down. The Crithian ships tried to fire, but their targeting systems flickered and died. Their shields failed. In 30 seconds, every automated defense around the station was offline. Station defenses neutralized, Deho reported. Ships are disabled, but their life support is intact. Major Jinwoo, Hajin said. The station is yours. In the Marine Bay, Jinwoo and his team prepared for boarding. They wore armor that was lighter and more advanced than anything the Crithians had. Their weapons could switch between lethal and non-lethal modes in an instant. Listen up, Jinwoo said to his Marines. We are not here to kill. We are here to secure the station and its data. Use stun rounds unless absolutely necessary. Rules of engagement are strict. We are better than them. We prove it by how we fight. The Marines nodded. They understood. The Indomitable launched boarding pods. They crossed the distance quickly, attaching to the station's hull. Marines poured through the airlocks. The Crithian defenders tried to fight back. They fired their weapons, but human armor absorbed the shots easily, and human weapons put the defenders to sleep without killing them. Room by room, deck by deck, the Marines took control. 90 minutes after the boarding began, Jinwoo stood on the station's command deck. Crithian officers sat on the floor, stunned but alive. Not one enemy soldier had been killed. Station secured, Jinwoo reported to the Indomitable. All enemy personnel detained safely. Beginning data download now. Dr. Yoonji worked quickly, accessing the station's computer systems. What she found made her blood run cold. Admiral, she said urgently, you need to see this. Files appeared on the bridge screens. Research data, laboratory footage, biological samples. Yoonji's hands shook as she opened each file. They have been developing bioweapons, she said. Diseases designed to target specific species. And Admiral, they have files on human biology. They are planning to use these weapons against Earth if their conventional attacks fail. The bridge went silent. Captain Minho stared at the data in horror. They are planning genocide, he whispered. Not just military victory? They want to exterminate our entire species. Admiral Hajin's face went hard. Her eyes were like ice. Copy all of this data, she ordered. Every file. Every piece of evidence. The galaxy needs to know what the Crithian Empire truly is. Admiral, the sensor officer called out. Multiple contacts. 200 ships just jumped into the system. It is Vexir's fleet. On the main screen, space filled with Crithian warships. They spread out in a massive formation surrounding the station. And at the center, larger than all the others, was Vexir's personal dreadnought. A transmission came through. Vexir's face appeared. His eyes burned with rage. Humans, he snarled. You have made a grave mistake. You took my station. Now I will take your ship. And then I will take your world. There's nowhere to run. Captain Minho looked at the tactical display. 200 ships. All of them focused on the Indomitable. They were trapped, but Admiral Hajin smiled. It was a small smile. A knowing smile. Commander Yuna, she said calmly. Status of the gravitational anomaly generators. Yuna checked her console. Deployed and ready, Admiral. They have been seeding the nearby nebula for the past hour. Waiting for your command. Minho understood immediately. While they had been taking the station, the Indomitable had been preparing a trap. The nebula was filled with invisible devices waiting to be activated. Helm, Hajin ordered. Take us into the nebula. Full speed. Make them follow us. The Indomitable turned and accelerated. It dove into the thick clouds of the nebula, disappearing from view. They are running, Vexir roared. All ships pursue. Do not let them escape. The Crithian fleet followed. 200 ships entered the nebula, chasing one human vessel. Now, Lieutenant Deho, Hajin said quietly. Deho activated the gravitational anomaly generators. Throughout the nebula, invisible machines created artificial gravity wells. Space itself bent and twisted. The Crithian fleet scattered. Ships were pulled in different directions by the gravity wells. Their formation broke apart. Some ships found themselves light minutes away from their nearest ally. Others were trapped in gravity fields they could not escape. In minutes, a coordinated fleet of 200 ships became 200 isolated vessels, spread across an enormous volume of space. On his dreadnought, Vexir watched his fleet fall apart. What is happening? He shouted. Reform the fleet. Get back in formation. But his officers could do nothing. The gravity wells were too strong. The ships were stuck. The Indomitable emerged from the nebula behind the scattered fleet. It hung in space completely untouched. Inside, the crew watched the chaos they had created. 200 ships, Commander Yuna said, scattered across light minutes. They cannot support each other. They cannot coordinate. They are helpless. Admiral Hajin nodded. We could destroy them all, she said quietly, but we will not. Dr. Yunji, are you ready to broadcast what we found? Hyunji looked at her screens. Ready, Admiral. All the evidence is compiled. The galaxy will know what the Krithians plan to do. Then send it, Hajin said. Let them see the truth. The transmission went out across every channel, every species, every world. The evidence of Krithian bioweapon research spread through the galaxy like wildfire, and the Indomitable waited, engines humming, ready for whatever came next.